Bethenny Frankel isn't taking any risks when it comes to her daughter. On this week's episode of her Just Be podcast, the former Real Housewives of New York City star, 53, shared that she's instilled some fear in her daughter about living in New York City. Frankel is mom to 13-year-old daughter Bryn, whom she shares with ex Jason Hoppy, describing that she thinks New York City is kind of dead. The longtime New Yorker says that she's not trying to be a hater, but something has changed in the city. But it's taken a real beating. I was talking today to my publicist and her friend knew someone who was held at gunpoint at Dunkin' Donuts. My daughter's friend was held up at gunpoint at Dunkin' Donuts, coincidentally. My same friend knew someone who got hit in the face with a brick by a homeless person in New York City, Frankel says, adding that she recently described how she was allegedly hit in the face. I just think of my daughter walking up and down the aisles of CVS and thinking life is normal. And it freaks me out, she shares. Later in the podcast, Frankel says she's been making her daughter Bryn paranoid after sending her so many stories about crime in N.Y.C. My daughter, anywhere she is, I'm like, wait a minute, how'd you get there? What time is it? Was it dark? Wait a minute. I send her every story to the point where I'm annoying. You don't want to scare your kids. You don't want to freak them out. What do? Scare my kid, freak her out. I'm choosing fear. I want to instill fear in her because my alternative is pain and death and crime. This is what we're dealing with. The choices for my daughter are instill fear or she's walking through the streets of Manhattan thinking everything's normal. Frankel goes on to say that she doesn't want this life for her daughter and wants her out of the city. My daughter has pepper spray and one of those alarm things. She's had it since she was 12, the podcaster shares.